Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 196 of the IAcast. All right, with me today, we have some great folks, and we have a new face / voice, however you want to look at it. On the episode today, I'm Michael Dowies, and we have Taylor Arndt. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, Michael. Hey.
Good to have you back.
Thank
And
you.
making her IAcast debut and appearance is Alicia Geary. Welcome, Alicia.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. So, through one of our mutual friends that we know very well, I don't know that we could ever say his name again on the podcast because of reasons that were explained in like the episode 160s or something like that. This person introduced Alicia to the group, and we're very glad he did because we got such a great marketing person and somebody that knows what they're doing with social media and all this great stuff. So it's been fantastic. And so we figured we'd have her on, and she even has some podcasting equipment coming very soon. So it's really cool stuff. So it's great. And so Taylor and Alicia are here with us right now. We may have more folks joining us as time goes on. So be on the lookout for some familiar faces that may pop in. So that's what I love about this show is we are a podcast, but people could come in and in the middle of the episode and keep talking to us, and I think that's great. Again, we're always on the radio every time we do this, and YouTube. If you want to leave us feedback, you can email us at feedback@iacast.net. And so let's get started. And if you are listening to the IAcast network, you can go back through and listen to all of the content for Unmute Presents and our other shows like Friday Finds. The travel show with Katie was last week. Fantastic episode. And Michael has been putting out episodes of the Shell Phone Show. Technically Working is always great. So there's some great content out there if you have not heard it yet. Believe it or not, it's been a very busy week for me. So I'm behind on our IAcast Network podcasts. I actually try to keep up with all of our podcasts.
I do too.
So that I know what's going on. But this week was just kind of a busy week. But and if you haven't checked out Friday Finds yet, we're trying to promote that. We're trying to promote that feed. But at the same time, I genuinely really like that podcast. On the network, I like all of our shows because I have to say that because I do infrastructure and keep things running. But specifically, Friday Finds and Technically Working are great shows. Technically Working because you learn some good productivity habits and or non-habits, depending on what they're talking about.
Yep.
But Friday Finds, Lynn goes out of her way to find 3 very interesting stories that you may not find in traditional tech news. And she kind of gives her opinions and thoughts on those. So I really love that podcast. So
I do too. Yeah, those are of course, I love all the podcasts on the network, but those are the ones that I absolutely love as well. And Technically Working has a new day, Michael. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, they have
a new reporting day.
Well, they're changing around. They have if I could talk, Fridays through Sundays to record. They're shifting more towards Saturday currently, but it's not a permanent thing, I don't think. So I don't want to tell people you could expect them always on Saturday because they may not be.
But for now.
Yeah, for now. And I think that they will be on the radio later this evening recording their episode. So
yep.
Very exciting stuff. So that's the latest in IAcast. Oh, there is, as Tim Cook and Steve Jobs before him like to say, one more thing. If you are listening to VO Starter Weekly, season 2 or section 2, however you want to look at it, podcasts call it seasons, but it's kind of the second section of the app, will be starting up in October. So Wednesdays will in October Section 2 will be VO Starter Section 2 will be back on the podcast. So check that out. Cool stuff. So I want to start with a little bit of news that we haven't talked about, and that is that Twitter /X/ whatever you want to call it today.
Yeah.
The overlord, Elon Musk.
Uncle Elon.
Yep. Was talking to somebody about having people pay for Twitter, everybody, to keep bots off the platform. I do believe that if he does do that, that would be the end of the platform as we know it. But I've kind of had this thought that I'm predicting, and I have been predicting this in my head, and I'm just putting this out here. I feel like Elon kind of wants to change Twitter to be more like a WhatsApp or something else instead of a massive social media app. But if he does this paid thing, then it will make it to where everybody has to be a paid member to keep bots off the platform. And I'd be curious to know y'all's thoughts on this if this happens, because I've heard talk that this is being rolled back, that it's not going to happen, but who knows?
I don't think that it's going to happen. However, he's talked about it before, and he has talked about things and then actually took action on them. So I think it's something to look out for. I honestly, if I find out that he's charging members to be on the platform, I'm deleting my Twitter. I'm deleting my Twitter. I'm not going to hesitate to delete my Twitter, because that's a load of baloney. That's baloney. If you are going to charge someone just to simply be a part of a social media, then that's not necessarily a social media anymore. That's an exclusive membership club type thing at that point. And that's just not what I'm out for when it comes to social media, when it comes to having a space to promote myself and express myself. But yeah, that's my piece.
I agree with Alicia. And social networks should not make users pay for access. Like Alicia said, that's a whole bunch of baloney, and in her words, and really is, in my eyes, uncalled for. See, the conundrum that I'm going to be put into is that all of my accounting friends currently are on X/Twitter/ whatever its name is today. And the problem with that is, if the overlord, as Michael just said a minute ago, makes everybody pay, it seems to me like the accountants are just going to say, hey, well, I guess it's time for us to pay, because, some groups of users, like accountants or others, don't really know another way. And so then I'm kind of like, well, I don't really want to pay to be on this platform, but if the group of people that I really need to interact with is on this platform, I may not have any choice.
There's always other options, especially since you're talking about professional communication. There's always places like LinkedIn and things like that for you guys to go hang out and actually interact and network.
That makes sense, though. I mean, the only thing is, though, like some of the times in those communities, like not everything we talk about is actually professional. Sometimes we talk about personal things or, like things that we're doing. So not all of it is professional natured. And it's more of a community, and LinkedIn may not fit its needs. At least I heard the last time everybody
That's
talked
fine.
about it.
That's fine. There are people that talk about personal things over LinkedIn. It just has to be it's LinkedIn is rumored to be this like boring business community, and it's not what people say it is. Yes, it's for professional networking, but LinkedIn, there's no rules that every conversation has to be professional. You can still be social on LinkedIn. I am in the wholehearted belief that it's perfectly okay to talk personal stuff if you're talking, with your field, especially if it relates to work. But yeah, no, it's not necessarily a big deal. You are okay to post things like that. I wouldn't post. I would have conversations maybe over messages or a group chat or something, but like I wouldn't post about your personal life on LinkedIn. But
Yeah. And
it is definitely okay to have conversations about stuff like that.
It makes sense.
It's not a crime.
I think the big issue here is it's not a matter of Taylor wanting to be on X or things like that if they start charging for it, but it's just, people have been using something for so long and just changing. I think they would rather stop using social media than actually make a change to somewhere else in some cases.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
So that's kind of, and I believe that's the biggest concern. I believe even Tim Cook made a statement that the reason why Apple is on Twitter/X is because that platform is still considered, even with all of the changes, to be a town square, and that's why they're still there. But if things change even more there, I think that that will not be the case much longer.
Interesting.
It being a town square, I don't know. I can't speak for Apple staying. That's not something I can speak about. But
I think a lot of tech outlets, whether it be like tech YouTubers, tech creators, big tech corporations, are going to lose a marketing platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to lose a space to give news and update people on what's coming next. And they're going to have to find somewhere else to promote themselves.
Believe it or not, even though Threads lost a lot of its popularity, I still see a lot of the creators that I follow posting on Threads instead of Twitter or, other places. So I'm just waiting for that ActivityPub
standard
integration with Threads so that we can all benefit from users on Threads. That's really what I'm excited about.
I keep forgetting about Threads just because it doesn't, come up in conversation. But yeah, that is a good point. Is that I think ActivityPub could make this a whole lot better.
And I keep saying that I believe that the answer for a lot of our problems is for all of these social networks to integrate something like ActivityPub so that the town square is there, but it's everywhere. It's where the users want to be. If I want to be on Mastodon, great. If I want to be on Threads, great. PixelFed, great. Instagram, great. Wherever I want to be, I could follow anybody else. It wouldn't matter. If we had a way to have a federation type of decentralized social network, then that would be the answer to all of our problems. It's just the corporations who have the user bases want this thing called money,
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be too depressing on this podcast episode because, there's been a lot of great tech news.
I don't think it's depressing. I think it's just a thing that's happening, and I think it's just a thought.
Well, I think a lot of users consider
I'm not sad about it.
Yeah,
Me either.
but I think a lot of users consider it to be depressing because of what's happened to Twitter, right? Like it was a great place to be, and then it slowly went downhill, and it's kind of that mall, on the in your city that all the stores closed and only the riffraff kind of hangs around now. Yeah, it's kind of turning into that. So that's why I say that. But on to very cool stuff. We did an unboxing of the iPhone 15 Pro Max yesterday, and that was Alicia's first time on an IAcast network podcast.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
Don't click away. Go click. Go. Wait until this episode is done, and then
yes. Wait for that. And afterwards, I hooked my Sennheiser profile microphone up to the iPhone, and it was pretty great how well it worked. And if we have to, we'll edit it out. This what I'm about to talk about, but we're going to try to put in a little bit of recording from that sample that we took after the Unboxcast that we did. So that will go in about this point in the show. I am recording, so I could see how I sound on this microphone later on. So, okay, so I'm about 5 inches away, about 6 inches away right now. and just talking into my microphone. And
That cuts down on a lot of the room noise too, right there.
Yeah, that does.
now
That-
You
I'm
can't
right
hear as
up
much.
on my microphone, talking right into the top of the
Ooh.
microphone. And this is me talking right into it for an extended period of time, probably popping some peas and
Nope.
doing
No
all that
popping.
fun
Nope.
stuff.
Nope.
No popping.
Really? So yeah, that was pretty cool. And it just shows what the iPhone can do with USB-C. What were y'all's, because you both were there last night, so what were y'all's thoughts
Yeah.
of the phone?
It was. I am in love with the blue color.
It is pretty nice.
When I go to purchase my iPhone 15 Pro Max, the blue color is definitely going to be what I get. For context, I have an iPad Air 5 and I got the blue model. So I'm in love with the fact that the two blue colors are going to pair nicely well together whenever I purchase my iPhone.
That is
I
really
am-
awesome.
I am coming from a Galaxy S23 Ultra to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And it's going to be my first iPhone. So I'm extremely excited. But
That is
yeah,
pretty cool.
Taylor,
the
what were your
profile,
thoughts? Oh, mhm.
the profile, the sound of the Sennheiser profile when you hooked up to the iPhone actually was really clear. It kind of sounded like you were coming from a studio. It sounded like you were in a high-tech, like the souped up studio with all the insulation foam and whatnot. Like you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The soundproof studios. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is audible.
Yeah.
So
I have to
Yeah.
agree. Sorry, Michael.
no, you go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I have to agree with Alicia. I had hoped that Michael would have taken our advice and made the podcast on the phone. But now that I think about it, you can't really run the audio hijack for the phone. Hey, maybe that's what Robomoeba should do, make audio hijack for the iPhone. I'm
Well,
not
I
giving
could
ideas,
have
but I don't
I could have joined on Zoom on the computer to do that, but I didn't want to go through the headaches of joining on two devices and doing all that fun
It
stuff.
sounded really it sounded so good. It's like I
Mhm.
couldn't even tell you were on an iPhone, and just sound like an awesome studio, like like a recording studio or just a sound studio that you would just literally have soundproof
Mhm.
room. It sounded very, very clear, and it was definitely podcast quality.
But what's interesting is that we're in the same house, and I don't think you've even held the new phone.
No, I haven't, because I had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, and I was just so tired after all of our festivities, and now I'm like, I need to go hold it now, Michael.
Yeah, you'll have to come check it out. It is different. It definitely feels different. Somebody said it feels closer, or yeah, somebody said it feels closer and less distinguishable between the 15 and the 15 Pro lineup. So they both feel very similar, since the titanium has a different feeling from stainless steel. I will say I will miss the shininess of stainless steel. I just love the color, the shine of stainless steel. But that's what happens when you upgrade your phone. So it is lighter. It's easier to hold. One of the things I've always loved to read books and comics, and just holding my phone for a while just gets heavy in one hand. But I think this phone will help with some of that. So I read loads of Marvel comics on my iPad Mini, and that's really a nice device for that. And then sometimes if I'm out, if I want to read on my phone, I can do that too, because they're very similar screen sizes. So
I feel as if we've gone on a tangent.
this happens all the time on the IAcast.
Yes, this is not new. This is not new.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Because we wanted to give our first impressions on this phone, and
Yeah.
that's part of the episode today.
Woohoo.
And so it's a great device, and I would recommend, if people want to upgrade if you're thinking about upgrading from the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, figure out why you need to upgrade, see if it's what you need, and make those decisions. I don't know that it's for everybody.
No.
But USB-C, if you're a power user, this is really a great update.
And
I know
think-
I'm excited. I know I'm excited.
I'm
so
too.
I was talking to a friend, probably it was the day I got my iPad, which it's only been like a month since I got the iPad. And they were just ever so just trying so hard to like get me to switch to the iPhone since I had an Android phone and an iOS tablet. They just really wanted me to switch. They thought it was just the best idea ever to switch. And I made a joke with them and I was like, "Oh, well, let iPhone get USB-C and then we'll talk." Well, a month later, we find out that the iPhone 15 has USB-C.
Yep.
But also a month later, the iPad worked its way into my soul, and I found out that there was a bunch of things that iOS does better that Android does do, but somehow iOS does better. So,
well, I think for the Android fans that are listening to the podcast, simpler would be
Simpler, yeah.
Yeah, better, simpler. It depends on how you look at it.
And perspective. Some people just
absolutely.
Android just works with their headspace better.
Yeah. For the record, I'm not waging this war of iPhone versus Android. I feel like they both have their pros and their cons.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's not a matter of which one is better, it's a matter of which one works best for you.
Exactly.
So, there you go. There's my point.
And I actually plan to have a whole episode on I call the term platform shaming, where people say, "Oh, you've got this." Well,
Oh, how dare you? Oh my God, this is better.
Right. And that's the term I use, is platform shaming, where people put each other down because of what platform they use, and it's not the right thing to do. So that's another conversation for another day. But let's actually get into the things that have happened this week.
Amazon and Microsoft.
Yes, Amazon and Microsoft. We had two announcements, two events that we didn't actually watch, but we got them.
We were working.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah, but we have the details for these events, or at least most of them. And I want to start off with Amazon. And
after all, they are first in the alphabet, so it makes sense.
Well, that's true. That's true. Good point. Good point. So we didn't get a lot of devices this time. We got a new Echo Show 8. And I don't know how I feel about this device. It's supposed to have, all these new things, and the screen is supposed to do certain things as you move around the room, and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great. It's just a new Show 8, right? I think it's more iterative than revolutionary,
I was a little disappointed that they released a new Echo Show 8 because I purchased not too long ago the previous version of the Echo Show 8.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm looking around at like what Amazon is presenting this Echo Show 8 as, it's not as much of an upgrade as we might think it is. It has a new screen. The UI is a bit better. I think it's supposed to, I honestly can't remember. I don't know if they're selling it on Amazon already.
Well, I'm looking at the new Everything Coming, and it looks like there's a new ambient experience, and I think that's what I was talking about earlier.
Oh my goodness! Okay, so I found the Everything Coming,
mm-hmm.
the Echo Show 8. This thing looks strange. Have you looked at it?
I have not seen a picture of it yet.
It's like a hybrid between the Echo Show. That's the Echo Show 10. Okay.
So it looks like it does look like a little bit of a hybrid. It has a rounded speaker on the back, and kind of that it shows the time and all that on the front. It's a lighter color.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a hybrid between the Echo, the normal Echo, and the Show.
Yeah,
interesting.
it
It
is
kind of
interesting.
reminds me of the Nest Hub. You know how the Nest Hub has like that speaker wedge in the back, and then the screen kind of looks like a tablet pressed on top of the speaker.
Right.
I honestly don't know how that holds up over time. Can anyone tell
Right.
me if something has ever happened to their Nest Hub? Like, I would love to hear that.
Yeah. We
Hashtag IAcast.
yeah.
Talk to us.
I've had a Nest Hub, it's worked, but the ambient thing is supposed to really focus on where you are with the camera and shift audio and things like that. So it's kind of
That's cool.
like, it's instead of building like the Echo Show 10, it's a speaker that rotate. It looks like the top of the Astro robot or
Yeah.
Astra or whatever it's called. And
And
it
if no
pivots
one's
and all
ever
that.
seen it, it rotates. The
Mhm.
stand has a motor in it, and it rotates around to follow you,
Yep.
and it uses the camera to do that.
Interesting.
So for the Echo Show 8, the new Echo Show 8 is going to use the camera, and it's not going to follow you, but it is going to like track audio and track like where you are to be able to push the audio in a direction that's more suitable to your location.
Yep. So the next one is the Echo Hub, and this one is it's supposed to compete with like the Nest Hub, but
That's an
it's
interesting topic.
yeah, it's basically a smart home hub for Echo, where you can go in and change your house stuff. You could hang it on a wall and things like that. Is
Kind of like
what?
it's kind of like, I think, oh god, I think LifeX came out with something like that, where it was like a tablet panel that you hung on the wall and you could like touch it and interact with it to get the smart home stuff to work.
Mm-hmm. And there's apparently like a map view that's coming out where you can manage your smart home from your phone, where you can like
That's
map
cool.
your home.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Now there's two more. There's a new Fire TV soundbar that's come out.
I'm excited about that. I feel like that's it's not as expensive as I thought it would be.
There's a new Fire TV stick 4K that's under $50, which is pretty nice.
Wow.
I just like if I wanted.
Fire sticks have always been the same price. I think they've always been like $49.
And there's a 4K Max Fire Stick.
Love that.
With a Fire TV ambient experience, just like the Echo Show 8.
Love that.
And it supports a first streaming stick to support Wi-Fi 6E. That's interesting.
Ooh, that's really cool.
We have new Fire TV search and personalization features. So that's all pretty cool. Back to, and we talked about the soundbar. Let's see. There's some more TV stuff that was announced, but the important things are the A lady, as we call her on the show, is getting generative AI. So it will be. Some people think this is great, and some people think this is a very big privacy concern. And the reason is that with this, it's going to send all of our requests to an LLM, large language model. And some people find that to be okay. Some people are very hesitant about it. But I mean, look, we're already sending all this stuff to Amazon anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's
Who
just
cares?
a little bit more.
I'm excited about it.
I mean,
because I feel like it's going to. Has anyone ever asked a question to the Amazon Echo to be able to, get information, quickly, right off the bat, right offhand? I feel like it's going to make it better at answering those informational questions.
Right. As long
Because
as
it's
it doesn't hallucinate.
Because because it's able to pull data from somewhere and be able to answer these questions right off the bat instead of you having to, is that going to be an answerable question or not?
Right.
Because there are some questions that are okay to ask it, and then there are other questions that sound too complex to ask it, that it's not going to have an answer for. And then there are questions that you just know right off the bat that it's not going to be able to answer. So just pull out your phone and ask the question
Right.
on Google.
So
So I think
those
it's
are
going to be better
those are
for asking this question.
yeah. So that's all things that we're going to see with the Echo and Fire devices. Now, here's the one announcement from Amazon that really has me kind of excited, even though this for once is outside my budget. I'm a huge fan of the Eero routers. Okay. They announced the Eero 7 Max router system. And this is Wi-Fi 7 routers for consumers, not businesses, but consumers
Already?
already. And
I feel
now,
like Wi-Fi 6 has only just come out.
Wi-Fi 6 has been out for a while. 6E has been out for the last year or two. 7 is the latest now.
Oh my
And
I said, oh my God.
yeah. And these routers are pretty beefy. They look like the old airport extreme routers from Apple. They kind of really do. They're big, tall, bulky things, and they have four ports on the back. I think from what I heard, it was 2.5 gigabit and 1 gigabit ports. And they start at $5.99 for just one.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. I mean, I think it's fine for them to be bulky because they are the first Wi-Fi 7 routers available for consumer. That's a big jump. I feel like it's totally fine for them to be bulky, but I do hope that in the future that more companies are able to make them more compact and, able to be put in a smaller space.
Well, the thing about Wi-Fi 7 is there's just so many radios that have to go into it that I'm fine with that because I'd rather a big bulky box instead of a router with a bunch of little antennas.
Oh my God.
Kind of like the Netgear and others, like they are very powerful radios, but yeah, I just like the design of the Eeros, and I just think that I'm fine with it, but just the price needs to come down a little bit before I upgrade my whole house to those.
Right.
I think one of those costs about as much as 2 or 3 of the 6E versions cost.
Do you think they'll come down in price? And do you think you may not need as many of them?
I don't know. I really do not know. But I really trust the Eero brand. We had a router recommendations episode a while back where the consensus was Eero or Ubiquiti for your networking from our panelists here on the show. So if you've not heard that episode, you may want to go back and listen to it after this conversation.
Oh, but don't forget about the unboxing.
Right, we just did that too. So we're making a list for listeners to go listen to, So, I think that's kind of oh no, that is not the end. Echo frames. Now, a lot of people thought they were going to discontinue these.
They released another.
They did. So they released new Echo frames. They're supposed to look nicer. Previously, they did not look the best.
They do, by the way. They look nicer. They look a bit more cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
The previous version kind of looked like a rush launch. It didn't really look all that great.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not necessarily a fan of the Echo frames because I feel like they were just capitalizing on a market that was trying to push itself forward.
Right.
Because Bose makes audio glasses, Soundcore even makes audio glasses now. Then Amazon was just like, ooh, let us jump on the bandwagon. Let's do this. And they kind of rushed it. And I feel like that's why they didn't look all that great.
Right.
They looked a little ridiculous. But they actually do look a bit more, the form factor is a bit nicer.
Yes. And I've heard they sound better too. One of the podcasts that I listened to.
Look at the price tag.
Yeah.
How much are they?
You want to share that?
I can't remember what it was, but I know I was like, woof.
Yeah. Well, if you look them up, they're not the cheapest, but none of these are. So, I mean, a podcaster was talking and they said that, Amazon has had a history of releasing a lot of products that they didn't know how well they do. And so their way of beta testing was, hey, let's just sell it to customers and see if they like it or not. And if they don't, oh, well, we have their money.
Oh.
And I feel like that's a little bit of an extreme view on that, but it's kind of true.
I feel like Amazon is just one of those companies that's not afraid to try. By the way, I did figure out the price. $269.99
Woof.
for the Echo Frames 3rd gen.
That's a little expensive.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So
A price tag.
yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah, no. For audio glasses, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the audio glasses market. I would rather just buy some dedicated bone conduction headphones and call it a day, honestly.
See, they don't the shocks never have fit me, so
Oh,
my
that
head's too
sucks
big.
for you.
Yes, it does. My head's too big. Now,
You know, they actually are designed to like mold after a while to your head, and I think they've actually gotten bigger.
I've tried all of the latest ones and they still don't fit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yes, it is.
That's a really good bone. I think Bose makes a pair of
They make the Bose frames, but they're discontinuing those.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. At least
Didn't- I
certain
wonder-
models. I'm not sure if they're discontinuing all of them.
I wonder if there are any other bone conduction headphone manufacturers out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because that is a really good thing to have, especially if you're walking around like in public and you need to hear things.
Right.
They're like my best friends because
Right.
I wear them in public to keep people from eavesdropping because I use a screen reader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't want people hearing my business and hearing my text messages and my calls. So
I always walk around with one AirPod in, is what I do.
I don't really feel safe doing that in public because sure, you're aware because the AirPod you can put on transparency or something, and but I don't feel safe because I'm that's not my own ears. That's me hearing through a microphone,
Right.
And I just don't
makes
feel
sense.
like
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it comes through as clear as my own ear canal. Like I don't feel like it's as clear, so I would rather just use a pair of bone conduction headphones because it leaves my ears open for me to be able to directly hear what's happening around me.
Right.
And I'm kind of the paranoid type. If I'm walking around in public, I want to be aware of what's happening.
Right, for sure. So that's pretty much that's what we've gotten from Amazon. And the next thing I want to talk about is kind of what excites me, is the Microsoft event. They had a lot of announcements. So Windows is going to be getting a new update very soon, 23H2. I was talking to somebody and said 22H3 or something like that.
I know, I heard that too. I was like, I don't think that's right.
So that was pretty funny. But it's 23H2. And basically, this update is going to add Copilot throughout Windows, which is neat because you'll be able to even paint with, like, the paint application. You could paint with words, which I'm kind of interested to try out.
That'd be cool to find out if that actually works.
I'm sure it uses DALL-E or something like that to do that. So that's very interesting to me. There'll be more customization.
So is that AI integration basically?
It is, yes. It is. Yep, it is generative AI integrated into Windows. And so you'll be able to tell your Copilot in Windows to do different things in Windows, like move files around or do certain things, and it will do it.
Oh God, will this replace Cortana?
Yes, this is kind of the replacement.
My God.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually really exciting.
I was watching a video on TikTok yesterday, and it was one person.
That kind of makes me want to keep my Surface. And just that kind of makes me want to keep my Surface and just save up for the Mac so that I could still play with the platforms.
Yes, and basically what happens, what you'll be able to do is do all of these different features, pretty much tell Windows what to do, and it's coming out in the next week or so, I believe.
Is it? I'll have to look at that because I want to try it.
Mm-hmm. At least the rollout is.
Since I am a Windows user.
Yep. So yes, you will be. There's more customization to the taskbar that's coming. These are just highlights. There's so many things to cover today, so I'm not going through
I may
everything.
have to rewatch the event.
Mm-hmm. They're going to announce. They're having all of these new features. You'll be able to control your computer, type to Windows to do different things, all this stuff. So it's all coming. So we got new devices from Microsoft this year, and one of them has me kind of excited. And I'm not going to start with that one. So you'll have to wait and hear my excitement later.
That's for last.
Yep.
That's for last. So
we got the Surface Go 4, which is a small tablet that is going to be very, it's kind of like the Surface Pro, but smaller, 10-inch tablet.
And I think the Surface Go is using an ARM chip, if I'm not mistaken.
They didn't used to, but they may be now. I don't remember. I haven't looked at the specs. But it is a small Windows laptop. Or small Windows tablet, and it's just tiny.
Who's that good for?
It's good for people that kind of want a tablet, but they don't want to go with an iPad or an Android tablet.
It has the ability to connect to a type cover. You just have to buy it separately.
Yep.
I liked the idea of the Surface Go, but it wasn't really high spec enough.
Right. It's really not.
And I wanted a bigger display, so I got the Surface Pro.
Mm-hmm. And it can be used with a monitor.
Duh. That's kind of a duh. It has a USB-C port.
Right.
I wonder if Microsoft got rid of their magnetic charge connector.
I don't know if they have or not. It is an Intel processor, N200, I believe it's called. So it is still an Intel chip, and it's very low powered,
I think it's the Surface Pro X that uses
that is ARM. Yes, for sure. The next one up is the Surface Laptop Go 3, because that's not confusing. Laptop. That's not confusing at all.
Yeah, that's very right.
But it is a proper laptop with a touchscreen.
And the Go laptops are typically smaller than
the laptop.
Smaller than the normal laptop, and they're typically smaller than the Surface Pros.
Yep. About the same size as the Pros, but they don't have a type cover. They have a full keyboard.
Yeah, and it's not detachable.
Right. Now, the one, and you guys can go look up the specs and prices if you would like, but we just want to tell you what's coming out. Now, the one that really has my interest. Oh, wait, there is a new Surface Hub, so keep that in mind.
Oh, Surface Hub. What's a Surface Hub?
Yeah, what's that about?
It's basically a dock where you could take your Surface and hook it up to it, and you get your monitor, you get your keyboard, mouse, and all that stuff.
Oh, that's dope! I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. That is a thing. It's expensive, like everything else.
Yeah.
But it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Then my favorite one that was announced is, drumroll, the Surface Laptop Studio 2. That is
an interesting thing.
This thing
the Surface Laptop Studio is an interesting
Yes,
concept.
It is. This one is a replacement to the Surface Book. I'm calling it a replacement to Surface Book because it's been many, many years since they have built a Surface Book. So I'm kind of thinking that we're not going to get one.
No, I don't think we are either. I think the Surface Book is years in the discontinued department.
Yeah. Unfortunately. And the nice thing about this Surface Studio is it is using a 13th gen Intel Core processor, i7 on the base model, which starts at $19.99. Yeah, I know it's expensive. But this year we're also getting an NPU, a neural processing unit on the machine for AI usage.
Oh.
So that is interesting to me. The Surface Laptop Studio is the line on this is it's a laptop, so you could, open and close the screen just like a laptop. But then you could also pivot the screen at an angle, kind of like the Magic Keyboard on the iPad. But then you could also turn the screen where it's completely covering the keyboard. So it's like a
2-in-1.
Yeah, it's kind of a 3-in-1 almost.
I'd have to see it to actually understand it.
I would say 2-in-1 with an extra viewing angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, because it kind of has that cantilever vibe that the Magic Keyboard has.
Right.
And then it has the normal laptop angle, and then it has the tablet.
Yes. So the reason why I'm excited about this is because of that 13th gen Intel processor, but also because this is the first time that, the Surface Books had a NVIDIA graphics card of the 60 variety, the 2060 back in the day or whatever. And the Surface Laptop Studio 1 had a 3050 in it. This one has a 4050 as a configurable option, but now also again has the 4060 option. And that has me intrigued as a gamer, because if I could have a Windows development machine and a gaming machine in one, that would be pretty interesting, enticing
and
to have.
And it's a 2-in-1?
Right.
Like, that is insanity. Like, to be able to switch from workhorse to tablet to gaming horse.
Right.
In a cinch, that's
right.
Nuts.
Also, one of the other things that really has me excited about this machine is very few Windows laptops have a haptic trackpad. And for reference, that is what the Mac laptops have and have had since like 2013, 2012.
Thank you for the heads up.
And so most Windows laptops have a diving board where the closer to the front of the trackpad, you get better clicks. Well, this one is a fully haptic piece of glass, just like the Apple ones.
So it'll like vibrate.
Right. It makes you think that you're clicking your mouse or your trackpad.
That's insane.
And so having that on a Windows computer is, in my opinion, kind of big. So that's why I'm saying that this machine out of all of them is the most interesting of them all, even if it does start at $19.99.
Yeah, that's a bit much. But you're getting a lot with it. So I feel like those who purchase it will actually be very happy. I wonder if is it going to support is there going to be, since they're releasing all of this new stuff, is there going to be a new Surface Pen?
Yes, I believe it's called a Surface Slim Pen or something like that, from what I remember reading. So it is a new Surface Pen.
There is a new Surface. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that has come out this week. My highlights are the Eero 7 Max and the Surface Laptop Studio. Funny enough, they're the most expensive things on the list.
That's interesting.
That's always,
So what is it that kind of stands out to you two that you're interested in from these announcements?
Probably the generative AI from Amazon and the Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio.
So I would say probably the generative AI from Amazon, as well as the Copilot for Windows, because I already have a Surface. I don't know if I need a Surface Studio per se.
I think
Which Surface do you have?
Well, Michael?
Surface? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think for what you have, like for what your use case is, you've never needed more than what you have on your laptop. But
exactly.
and Taylor has a Surface Laptop 5.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's a great machine, right?
Yes.
So, and for what she does, it's perfect. So, do you guys have any comments before we wrap this thing up today?
Nope. I do
I
not.
don't.
Okay. Well, as we typically do at the end of these things, Taylor, what is your pick for this week and where can people find you online?
So my pick is Spotify. So Alicia introduced me to it basically where we have group sessions. So when we're in our co-working room on Zoom, she starts up a session and then I join it on my devices so I can listen to exactly what her and Michael are listening to. People can find me online on Mastodon, TAYARNDT, at Techopolis. That is TECHOPOLIS.social. And I'm just pretty much all over the internet and all over IAcast.
All right. And Alicia, what is your pick for this week and where can people find you online?
All right, my pick of the week. Michael has just recently got me hooked on a game called Minecraft Dungeons. And if you haven't played it before, and if you're a Minecraft fan, it's going to come pretty natural to you. It's $20 for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm pretty sure it's $20 for Xbox. And I'm not sure about Sony's prices, but it's probably $20 there too. But it's pretty much Minecraft, but a dungeon crawler. So that's insanely fun and really fun to play multiplayer. It's really fun to play co-op with.
And it's not a very accessible game, but it is a fun game if you have low vision.
It's actually kind of accessible if you have low vision. My Nintendo Switch even was reading out all of the menus and all of the objectives and how to do the things. So if you do have some vision, you can kind of navigate, and the objective arrows are very bright and easy to see. So if you have low vision, it is going to be a good game. But where you can find me online, I am Blind One Lives, capital B, capital O, capital L. Pretty much everywhere. Twitter or X, Facebook, I am something different. I think I'm blind copywriter. And LinkedIn, you can find me as Alicia Geary. And Discord, obviously, if you add me on Discord, it's going to be the same thing. Blind One Lives, capital B, capital O, capital L. Feel free to hit me up.
Fantastic. And the audience has to guess what my pick is. I don't think it's very hard for them to guess. It's my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I knew y'all guessed it. So I just, great phone, great color blue, great experience. I think the speakers are better. Microphones, I think, are a little different even. So great purchase. Now the fun part of just trading in my old phone and getting things ready. Fun times. As for where people can find me online, I'm pretty much Mike Doey's everywhere. Mike Doey's on Twitter, X, whatever. I am. You can email me at mikedoeys@icloud.com. And you can find me on Mastodon at Mike Doeys. It's MikeDoise at techopolis.social. And we are now updated to Mastodon 4.2, which I'm happy about. That just came out with full text search and all kinds of neat features like that. So people are more than welcome to register there and hang out with us on techopolis.social if you're very into very techie things. So it's good stuff, and everybody's welcome. This has been another great episode of the IAcast. We are inching ever closer to 200. So we have...
we need to think of a milestone celebration. We need to do something to celebrate.
We have plans for that.
You do.
We do have plans. I will tell you about them offline.
Those juicy plans offline. Exactly.
Yeah. So we have some good plans for that, and I think it'll be a fun episode 200, because we're not going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about us the whole time. So It'll be fun. We're going to have a big group. Probably, we'll have more than just our typical 3 to 5 person panel. We'll have a lot of folks here. So it'll be a great episode. So make sure that you come around for that on the recordings and everything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. So with all that being said, thank you everybody on the radio who came to listen today. Thanks Taylor and Alicia for being on the show today. It's been a very good episode, and we'll be back next week for episode 197 of the IAcast. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time.
That's a wrap.
Bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the IAcast. We hope you enjoyed the show and found the conversation to be insightful and informative. If you have any feedback or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at feedback@iacast.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at IAcast Network to stay informed about new episodes and other updates. Don't forget to check out more great podcasts on the IAcast Network, iacast.net. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.